Good. A.J. Mahara here. The world situation, lockdowns, and reverse Hoovers. Wow. It's happening a lot for so many people. And I wonder, if you're one of those people, or, your country or your area has just gone back into lockdown or may well be doing so soon, and you're like, I don't know how to cope with this, So many people in all kinds of different situations having so much trouble trying to cope with this, obviously. It makes everything about BPD relationship breakup harder to deal with because people with codependency, to varying degrees, not everybody's the same, have issues about being alone. Many people do. And then being alone, like if you're kept away from friends or family due to a lockdown, is a very unnatural still a natural situation. And it increases people's difficulty in dealing with their own emotions because many of the things that many people would have done or can still do to some degree, but many can't, that would normally be distractions, would be maybe pleasurable things to do. People are having to cope with all this pain without those things and without a lot of contact with maybe people that are supportive too, even if they don't understand what you're going through. So just want to make mention again of the support group I have coming up. Please check it out at ajmahara.co. It might really be helpful for you. And if you're feeling like you're going to reverse Hoover, or you're getting Hoovered and like you want to answer back, but it's not the best thing for you, maybe a support group would really help you. The other thing I'm here to say is just that there is such an increase in whether it's the BPD-X or X's of BPD, reverse hoovering or hoovering, contact and attempts being made again and again and again. And this is exponentially going up by so many people. Some comments to the channel, but for other reasons I know this. And, working with clients, etc., which I can't talk about. But the thing is, it's so compelling. It's so difficult. It depends where you are and how long, since the breakup, or if you've been able to go no contact, full no contact, and stay there. But like a video I did a couple weeks ago or so about a reverse Hoover from someone who commented on the channel after a year of no contact. So I think people really need to stop and think about, how are you being affected by the world situation? How is that impacting things that you would normally do to help yourself cope at this point in time, wherever you are, whatever that means to you after a BP relationship breakup or being ghosted? And what is making it worse for you besides the obvious? Because people are struggling more, people are reverse hoovering more, people are maybe not getting hoovered more, in some cases getting hoovered more by some people with BPD, because I think the way people are thinking, maybe without, not everyone's the same, maybe without being consciously aware of it, is kind of like, well, the world is like the world is right now. It's really hard to meet people, and a lot of places are in different restrictions to lockdown, and then what do you do? And yeah, there's always talking to people online, etc., but if they're new people, and you're just fresh out of a BP relationship, it's not really a good idea. And people are having trouble finding people that understand in your life, even friends and family that care about you and love you. They just don't get it. So that's another reason for the support group. And I hope people will check out ajmahara.co. The information is up there. The first one's coming up in 4 days. And it's going to be a group every week, and it might not be the best time for everybody everywhere, but I can work on adjusting that. But the main reason for doing this video is to just say that you really need to be cognizant of this. You really need to be mindful about this. You really need to kind of sit down if you haven't already, and if you feel like you're on the verge of answering a Hoover or reverse Hoovering, for any reason, but especially this, what's going on in the world reason, where people are starting to think, like I said, I don't know if people rationalize it out all the time, but well, like, I can't meet anyone else right now, or I can't kind of go here, go there, go do this, go do that. Restricted in other activities that might help you, just, in distraction and things that you would like to do. And maybe working from home, maybe, a lot of different scenarios for people. And then people start thinking, well, so maybe that scorched earth of the BPD relationship looks better in comparison to the isolation that a lot of people are going through, that only really exacerbates the loneliness of people with codependency. And on top of, if you're still in that place of a newer place, or if you've been stuck for a little while, with all due respect, that place of like betwixt and between and on your own and feeling really badly about yourself, maybe consciously or unconsciously, about being alone, and maybe an inability. For some people with codependency, they really don't know how to be alone. And in this world situation, people are turning to alcohol, turning to drugs. Some people are undereating, some people are overeating, people are having difficulty sleeping. All of this is exacerbating the many, many different aspects of pain and struggles that people have to cope after these relationship breakups in general. So just, doing this video to remind you about the support group, but also, at ajmahar.co, you can check out all the details, etc. But also to say that you need to be mindful to what are you feeling, where are you at in your own process. And, I'm out here to work one-on-one sessions with people as well. That's ajmahar.ca for that. But what can you do, to help yourself out in those compelling moments, given that you might be in pain and having a lot of rumination more than not? What can you do in the meantime to really help yourself, what with the isolation and different lockdowns in different areas and the way the world is, and the pain and the cognitive dissonance and all that goes on and more after you've been, with somebody with BPD or a narcissist, and after the relationship breakup, or you were ghosted or discarded. And what do you do now when maybe you're facing a day or a lot more time alone, depending where you live in the world right now? I've had a lot of clients talking about this. Of course, I can't really talk about that, but I just know it's happening for a lot of people. It's probably happening for a lot more people than I've talked to about it recently, for sure. And there's been comments on the channel, comments in live streams here. So really want you to think about whatever the situation is where you live, how is that, or is it not, but how, if it is, how is it impacting what's an already really difficult coping process for you? And are you going to be able to be full no contact, stay full no contact, or are you starting to feel compelled, or a lot of impulses, ruminating is increasing? This is, these are signs to watch for, along with others, that you're getting close to trying to reverse Hoover, or if they Hoover you, you're getting closer to engaging it. They just can't emphasize enough how much this is compromising people's ability to cope after these relationships. So please take care of yourself out there, and know that even though we're all living in uncertainty in the world, and it's very stressful for people to varying degrees, that on top of your pain and on top of what you're trying to, maybe just barely are you starting out in the process of trying to recover from this. Maybe you're just becoming aware you have codependency. Maybe you know this, but you're kind of stuck, or you were doing well, and if your country goes back into lockdown, then maybe it's going to be much more stressful. So coping techniques and tools and skills, and I'm here to help people, if you want to book a session with me at ajmahar.ca to talk about all of that and anything else to do with the relationship breakup and healing codependency. So be mindful of this, please, and you need to devise coping mechanisms so that it's like a strategy, a plan of strategy before you get to that last straw where you're going to reverse Hoover, or before you get a Hoover that you might well know you don't want to engage intellectually you know that, but do you know that emotionally? So just something for people to think about. And once again, please check ajmahar.co for the upcoming support group, weekly, one beginning this weekend and going forward. Because I think a lot of people will find just talking about this and sharing with each other really helpful. So in the meantime, please be mindful wherever you are in your process and your journey. And remember that going around again doesn't work out any better than the first time. It really doesn't, because people with BPD need so much time to, if they're in therapy, to heal and to change, or to at least begin to make some changes. So if you reverse Hoover or you accept a Hoover and you end up back with, cycles go faster and you're going to get, chewed up and spit out again. And then you're going to be at ground zero, and some people might be there right now, and it's so painful. So realize that the struggle that many are going through, that you might be going through, it's so important not to cave in. I shouldn't say cave in, but it's so important not to try to reverse Hoover or accept a Hoover and think that somehow this is going to make it better. Because if it makes it better, it could be only for hours or a half a day or a very brief point in time. And then you're going to be back in the same place, only even more devastated. So the uncertainty of the world situation, everything that's going on with that, whatever you think it isn't, to all those things, it's really making BPD relationship recovery, codependency recovery, healing from these relationships. It's exacerbating people's difficulty with coping, with sleeping, with taking care, with not seeking substances and other ways of escaping. And it's really important to know that escaping or reverse Hoovering or accepting a Hoover and getting back with an ex, they're all going to take you in a direction that you don't need to go, in a direction that's going to cause you more pain. So think about that today, if in fact you're somebody who's really on the verge, on the edge, and stressed by your situation, what you're going through anyways, which is enough, and then on top of that, what's going on in the world. It really is it really is leading to people impulsively making really poor decisions for themselves. So take care.